Hi, it's me, Simone, and I'm the Zen Mommy. I help people with your spiritual awakening and navigating your ascension. And today, I would like to thank all my subscribers for being with me so far. And if you're new to watching this video, make sure you subscribe and press the bell button so you'll be notified when I release my next video. So today, I was sitting here thinking, I was meditating a little bit and meditating to get a topic idea. And I came up with ego death, and and I thought about that earlier today. I don't. I had my future topics all written out in the planner, and I lost that planner, so now I'm stuck to fishing for the ideas. But a lot of times, I could have a million topics, and none of them are it once I turn on the camera. So let's see if ego death is the topic. So the reason why I wanted to talk about the ego death because I've done a lot of videos on the ego. And so what I'm going to recommend to start off with is watch the video Ego Placement. It's one of the videos I talk about how that ego was placed with our incarnation to this body here. So the reason why I want to bring up the ego death from experience I had on ayahuasca, but I'm going to use that experience to relate to our experiences here with the ego when it comes to embracing and and accepting the spiritual things about ourselves. Okay, so the ego death is something you got to go through to pretty much cross dimensions on ayahuasca. So for me, it went a little bit like so here's the thing with the ego. See, the ego is a program. This ego placement was only an agreement we made to come into this creation here in this life. In this life, we have we came in with amnesia, not remembering our true selves of who we truly are, and which are we are creators, we're infinite souls, we're spiritual beings. And so we came to this human experience, and in order to really have this human experience, we had to forget that we were these infinite beings, these infinite creators. Because if we knew who we were when we came here, we wouldn't really have this experience knowing everything that we know. So the whole thing is like to not know anything and to have like an objective experience on human connection and this whole experience here, right? Okay, so the ego is here as a safety net. Okay, so now you're not a creator. You're not playing that creator role right now. Well, you actually still are creator, but you're not playing the God role right now. You're taking a limited role. And so as a limited role, so as an infinite soul being, you can manifest anything you want, you need. There would be there would be no struggle, no stress, no resistance, okay? So with the ego is going to protect you from potential situations that will get in that will either hurt you physically or mentally or any other kind of way. So, for example, as a creator being, creator God being who can create their own reality, you can see all situations in advance, right? So you would basically dictate your whole experience here if you knew that if you met this person, they were going to make you mad. But see, so without knowing that this person will make you mad, you learn a valuable lesson, you evolve your consciousness, right? But as a creator, you'll see that, oh, they're just a manifestation of me. This is all an illusion. It's hard to live in this reality once you like truly awaken to that self. So on ayahuasca, I had this experience where I took it a few times and I did not cross dimensions right away. And when you do cross over, go to another dimension, call it the other side, whatever you want to call it, those are all labels and names. There are no labels and names on the other side. So whenever I say a label or a name, it's only to refer to the common knowledge that we have here, okay? So I'll say the other dimension for now, the other side. In order to get there, the ego mind is programmed not to believe in anything outside of this existence. It only knows this. The ego works off of past data from the experience from being born here. So when you start talking about, I'm going to leave this dimension and spend time on the other side, I'm going to, I live for eternity. See, the ego doesn't comprehend eternity. the ego only sees temporary. The ego doesn't believe that. So the ego will say, okay, it'll talk you out of believing things because it'll say, you know, you're going to get hurt. People are going to think you're crazy. So this is the ego doing it. This is in a protection mechanism. Okay. So, and I want to talk about this today because with this mass awakening and everybody starting to open their third eye, Kundalini or whatever, you're gonna get hit hard by the ego shortly after, even just communicating with your spirit guides. So I went through a point when I have this perfect example. One time I took ayahuasca and I went to the bathroom. Okay, I was really stupid this time. I took this ayahuasca and I took a very low dose. I kind of thought it wouldn't work. So I ate food, which was a big mistake. So I ate some spaghetti, which was a big mistake. It kicked in as powerful as a full dosage. And all of a sudden I was like, okay, I gotta throw up. And so I was like, I'm just gonna go to the bathroom and handle it before it even like becomes a serious urge. So I get to the bathroom and I can't throw up. And the plant starts to kick in. And when it starts to kick in, the reality, like everything begins to change. You start to, it unveils the reality that we're in. So you'll start seeing things the way they truly are, or seeing things that we wouldn't see with the naked eye. And so while I was seeing that, I was in there, my ego was all, I felt my mind just racing. This isn't real. What are you doing? Don't you ever take this stuff again? You're crazy. All of this is an hallucination. The ego was just beating me up, right? And I was going through this whole ego experience, and it kept telling me, and I was literally got stuck in the bathroom because my ego was taking my mind in a circle of these doubts, where I'm like, really, I'm getting far off into thinking about these doubts. Then I finally come to the moment where like, no, that's just the ego. You know, you tell yourself, this is a spiritual experience. I know what I'm doing, right? So you have to, it's a bit of a struggle between the ego and the spirit. So once you get to the point where you have an ego death, the ego actually finally dies. When the ego dies, when that blocks, so the ego is your biggest block in life. The ego, it affects you in a way that it'll give you anxiety. It'll make you feel like, it'll make you feel sick. It'll make you feel like, nope, I can't believe that, I can't go on. And the more intellect you have, the more educational knowledge, the worse it is for you and your ego. Because the intellect doesn't really leave room for mysticism and the things that are from the spiritual realm, okay? So at that point, the ego died for me, okay? So I can't tell you exactly how the transition went. Well, I kind of can. I remember finally breaking out of the circle of egoic thoughts. And I remember walking out of the bathroom, and when I got into my bedroom, I sat on my bed, and then I laid backwards. And by the time my head hit the back of the mattress, I looked up, I was in another dimension. It was gone. No negative thoughts, no thinking it wasn't there. I was there. And I was in a place where I always knew about, that's always been there. All of my memories was back. All of the freedom of thought, form, energy, everything that like you can imagine. Imagine not having the ego. That was amazing, okay? So that ego death is very important when you have that type of experience. And I think I had that experience to really understand the ego death. And so I want to talk about, because I was talking to a client, and it's something that I went through. And when you start to have your third eye awakening, or you're awakening, and now you're in touch with communicating with your spirit guides, or you're believing in healings, energy, you're having clairvoyance, psychic visions, you have stuff like that, the ego will quickly combat you right afterwards and tell you, look, that didn't just happen. That's in your mind, it's your imagination. Let me tell you something. You need to check yourself in a mental hospital. You're going cuckoo. People don't see things. People don't hear things. And let me tell you, I really feel like the mental hospitals are really full of people who have these abilities. and they don't understand what's going on. They don't know what's going on, and the doctors drug them until they desensitize every ability that they have. And oh, they're better. Okay, so the key is through this awakening, you are going to experience that. You're going to experience feeling crazy. You know, you're going to experience seeing. So it starts off. You might see some corner of your eye pass by. You're like, did I just? No, did I see that? Or you'll see an animal pass by, and you'll be like, "Where did that cat go?" And then, or you'll see orbs. You know, you'll see. So the thing is, things will begin to, when you start to open up to the spirit realm, things begin to manifest in your reality via the third eye. And sometimes you'll see something, you know, with your natural eye, but it starts mostly with the third eye. So the ego's not too keen on this, okay? The ego, no matter what, let me tell you, no matter what, I've had beautiful experiences on the other side here, meditation, and the ego will still come to me and beat me up. You're going crazy. Like, you'll just literally feel like with this ascension energy and everything, and I did this last video, how you'll start to feel like, you'll have moments where you'll feel like wow, am I losing my mind? And the ego will have you to think that. And the reason why it does that is essentially protecting you, because the ego thinks that this type of behavior will land you in a mental hospital. Nobody will understand it. The ego is programmed to want you to be more like what they call the norm, okay? Well, the norm is over in this ascension. And so dealing with the ego is something we're going to have to deal with. The ego is dying after your awakening. It is somewhat of an ego death you are going through in the ascension process, because the process is the journey from ego to spirit. So you do get to the point where it's pure consciousness, but you do have to go through the ego. So like every time, the best thing to do, and this is what I have to tell myself, as soon as the ego tries to talk you out of, like, oh, I'll hear my spirit guide say something, you know, oh, go do this or do that, or how about this, give me like a thought, right? And then my ego will say, you only thought that, ain't no spirit there talking to you, there's no higher self. And then you have to realize, yes, okay, ego, okay, so this is one thing I've learned is you don't want to be rude to the ego, okay? You don't want to be like, look, ego, no, shut up, don't say anything to me. You don't want to go hardcore, because see, the ego is intelligent, okay? The ego will begin to process your new information and begin to use it in an intelligent way against you that is very, very convincing. So what you want to do is you want to embrace the ego. You want to accept and understand that I know that this ego is here to protect me. And I have to tell myself that, because I was battling with the ego, and that's not the battle you want to fight. I'm just telling you right now. You have to sit there and be like, look, okay, ego, thank you. You have to be appreciative. The ego really is doing a job, and it's doing a damn good job. Too good of a job. But the ego is here to protect us, and the ego will give us warnings, let us know, okay, this happened before, you got hurt this time, you're going to get hurt again. So, but the ego doesn't have the ego's knowledge is unfounded. The ego does not accept infinity. The ego only sees a length of time. And so, sorry, I'm a little distracted. My daughter's calling my phone. I thought I turned it on airplane mode. But anyways, I wanted to have this discussion about the ego death today, is because it's a process we're all going through. Oh no, I was telling you how to talk to it. So you say to the ego, thank you, I appreciate you, you are a part of me. The ego personality is something that you have developed here, so that does become a part of you. But what you also want to tell the ego is, you let the ego know, I fully am aware and I understand. You might want to communicate, I know you're stopping me from, say your ego, you've gotten your heart broken before, right? This is my issue. Your heart broken before, so the ego says, don't date again, don't trust him. You're just going to get your heart broken again. You don't want to go through that pain. And so I'll have to say, look, ego, I know, I appreciate you for protecting me, okay? But I know, I think I got this time. You let the ego know that I am awake, I am aware, and why don't you take a break and I got this? Or you say, and I learned this from Tony Robbins once, or you talk to the ego when you tell the ego, look, I know you're protecting me of pain, but if I go out, if I give this guy a chance, I could actually have love and be more happier, and in the end, it'll be better. So like, you can kind of do that with the ego, or you just kind of like, just talk to it. Let it know. Tell it to take a break, and you'll be fine. Other than that, when the ego pops up, it's about having consciousness and awareness about the ego. So when you start to see the thoughts, so like I said, when you're aware, you imagine being an observer of your life. When the ego starts attacking you, don't believe in that, you didn't see that, you immediately tell yourself, this is the ego. The ego has limited knowledge. The ego does not comprehend anything outside of this life. And that's what we're working with. And so it's good to understand that. I'm going to end the video now, but I'll have more videos coming. Thank you for watching, and I think I might go live tomorrow, Sunday. Hopefully I get this up today in time. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.